Hello, I'm Claire Terry. I'm part of a program, Reach Lesotho, and one of our projects was to interview a leader in this community, someone who's made a difference in the world. So here I have with me
MaligieKoroma.
Thank you very much for joining me, and I'm going to just interview him today. So,
thank you, Claire. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm a little nervous.
I think this will be a great project, and you'll have a great time talking with me.
You have a really interesting story. You and your family have come from Sierra Leone.
Exactly.
Can you tell me and the viewers maybe some of the things you have escaped from?
Living in Sierra Leone was a very challenging thing because it is a country where you were born and where you grew up, and some of the challenges that I have seen and that I left behind me was seeing the atrocities of war, which is the maiming of people, amputation of limbs, shooting people here and there, gruesome things that are beyond explanation. And to this day it is mind-boggling, because when I think of some of these atrocities that I have seen in my life, it just makes me feel sad.
Can you just tell me a little bit about the issue? What was happening in Sierra Leone?
Actually, the war started due to the effect of corruption in the country, and it started in 1991 by a former corporal named Fode Sankor. Fode Sankor was a disgruntled soldier who left the army. At that time, there was many dissident voices who were against corruption, nepotism, tribalism, and all the ism you think of that is happening in Africa. And he had the vision to change the country, and his rebellion went from fighting for the people and killing the people.
Something that had to do with it were the diamonds, because Sierra Leone is very rich in mineral resources.
Sierra Leone has one of the best diamonds in the world. The diamond issue is a big problem towards the civil war, because it was being supported and sponsored by international organizations who were not looking at the side effect of just buying these diamonds and the lives that were being killed because of their greedy tendencies.
Even Canada has had to do with kind of fueling that.
It has a role to play with it, but also had a role in helping to stabilize the situation. Diamond is being bought from Sierra Leone, and it is a blood diamond. Canada came up with a technology that was able to spot that this diamond is from Sierra Leone.
Can you just explain a little bit what Canada's negative role in this was? Because most people hear about the good things that Canada does, but we don't realize that we also play part in the problem some of the time.
Helping the rebels with arms and ammunition, because some of those greedy international corporations were fueling the conflict indirectly by funneling funds to the RUF, which is a Revolutionary United Front of Fode Sankor.
How do you think people around the world could help in the restructuring of Sierra Leone?
It should be in a two-flow dimension for me. At a personal level, yes, but also I think governments should play a very active role in helping people to stand up on their feet. A lot of work that needs to be done, and these work starts with the government by providing resources to the people who have suffered 10, 11 years of horrific events in their life. An individual role has to also be active, because for a country to change, and as a leader, we also have to get people to change their habits. Because when you change your lifestyle, your personality, your habits, everything, then it makes a change in the country.
When did you realize that you wanted change?
I was born to a family that is highly educated, of a middle class background, and I went to one of the best schools in Syria. My parents were able to give me all the basic needs that I want as a child. And growing up, I started realizing there's a lot of problems. 5 or 10% of Sierra Leoneans enjoy the wealth of the country. And I always question my dad, what is going on? Because I would go to some of those villages and I would see some of my friends begging me for food, ask me for different things, and I'll give it to them. And then I started questioning my parents. Why is this guy working like that? And I have 2 or 3 cars provided by the government to my parents. I became a rebellious kid. I started refusing to drive their car, going to their car, and instead walking with my friends to school. My changes started with my own parents by rebelling against their basic needs that was being provided to them by the government, and trying to feel at ease with the common people. A poem which became a best-selling poem in Sierra Leone. I also participated in a peace project in Sierra Leone when the civil war was going on.
Yeah.
We are blaming the rebels for all the atrocities they have done. But when you look at it indirectly, they are venting their anger against the society. And this is what we need to change. Because a man that is born poor become poor for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
This is Africa. And that is how Africa operates. And this is what I want to make a change in Sierra Leone.
What do you think could be brought up in Sierra Leone to kind of make that opportunity available to everyone?
There's a lot of institutions that can be created. My lady, I think Sierra Leone is really suffering at this very juncture. The educational sector institutions is collapsed. The mining institution is collapsed. The health institutions is collapsed. We need to revamp the system. For a society to be effective, we need to have an effective health system, because if you're healthy, then you're smart. And if you're smart, then there's development.
Something that really defines, well, is part of the definition of you, is your memoir. It's a big part of you, isn't it?
Exactly.
Why don't you explain a little bit about it? It's called Dancing with the Devils.
Dancing with the Devils. This book started after I got discharged from the hospital. I was diagnosed with brain hematoma. It is a health problem in the brain. After coming from that problem, I spent some time alone, and it's called the emotional and spiritual part of my journey. The external factor is there and the internal factor is there in everybody's life. What comes out here can just be the surface. You look happy. But internally, I was not happy with myself, because I was asking myself, have I made a change? What will I say to my Lord if I would have died from this medical problem? Have I made a change for society? And I realized I haven't done nothing yet. So I said I have to start first by telling the world about my life. What are the conflicts and what are the things that I've seen in my life, which to date, when I sit down, I cry too much. It's sad because it's not easy. Internally, I was fighting myself, and I decided to use the strength I had, in which is the power of the pen. And Dancing with the Devils, I got this title because I realized when the war was going on in Syria, and I see all these bad people who were chopping the limbs of people, raping women, killing innocent children. It was a devastating thing in my mind. And I said, these are devils. And I was dancing with them because this was the only means of surviving. You have to dance, sing for them, shout.
Looking at it from the outside, you don't wanna say that it was pointless, but it was a stupid war.
It's a stupid conflict.
And really, when you try and explain to someone, when you try to learn what the cause of the war was, there are no answers. There are few.
There are few answers, but
to justify a war to the extent where so many people were hurt and killed and tortured.
And to summarize the whole definition of the war is it is a senseless conflict. Yeah. Despite the conflict that has happened in Sierra Leone, there's also good side of Sierra Leone, and which is the people of Sierra Leone are very happy people. People are just looking for just the basic needs.
Yeah.
Whilst here we are all driven to the goals of achieving wealth.
Yeah.
And that makes you and I frustrated. I'm realizing, despite all everything, am I happy? I think I'm happy being in a beautiful country which a lot of Canadians don't appreciate.
No.
Until I say to those of you who will take yourself to Somalia or to Sierra Leone for a day and see how people's lives are changing over there and your lives over here, you'll appreciate even a penny you have in Kenya because it can make a change in different societies.
Yeah. What do you have to say to anyone who is listening to you, sort of to inspire them? Because you have so many words that have inspired me, and I'm sure that have touched so many other people. What do you want to say to continue that inspiration?
Don't try to be smart. Don't try to think you're the best worker, you're very hard working. But learn something in your life. You have to learn to respond to changes. If you find yourself ugly situations, appreciate it. It is not a good word to say sometimes, but we just have to appreciate it.
It's the endurance of suffering.
Exactly.
It does
and
good
so,
too.
Respond to changes. Try to make a change in the lives of all people.